An AEW name is pushing to return at All In. Plus, AEW are making a major change to their pay-per-view schedule. And an Impact star wants a ridiculous TNA Gimmick match to return. It's all in the wrestling news right now. All In coming to Wembley next month. How is it nearly all in o'clock, Andrew?
I don't know, Tom, but time is a thing.
Time is a construct of human perception. And we're nearly at AEW's big night out in London. 75,000 plus tickets sold. It's going to be big.
It is.
One person wanting to add their head to the head count is good old JR Jim Ross. He's been talking about that this week on Grillin' JR.
He certainly has. He opened up about his recent health issues, claiming it's been a challenging week due to issues with his leg following his cancer battle and an onset of sciatica too. He said, I think we've made some improvements. We have a good game plan. I just need a break. I need a break in the action and move on. If I don't get the results that we're looking for, I'll go to the Mayo Clinic and start over and see where it takes us.
He says, I don't have any timetable on returning to work. I have to get better and I can't start traveling again because I'm worried about an infection, and being on an airplane or an airport with an open wound is not ideal. I'm positive. I'm optimistic. I want to get back in the booth doing something. I really want to make Wembley. I don't want to say I have a target date, but you have to have some kind of goal, and Wembley is my goal. I hope I'm back before then, but certainly Wembley is something I want to be part of. And a healthy Jim Ross, I would love to hear at Wembley.
Me too.
A healthy Jim Ross, I'd like to emphasise, because I know Jim's had a few trials and tribulations lately, to say the very least, to put it unbelievably lightly. But it broke my heart hearing him on Collision, on that debut Collision. I was like, this guy isn't well.
Yeah.
And I've been quite critical of some of Jim Ross's work in AEW. I'm not critical of Jim Ross, the man. I think Jim Ross is we remembered as one of the finest wrestling commentators in the history of the sport. I sound very Tony Schiavone where I said that. Another fine one in the history of our sport. But I would be concerned if he rushes to come back just so he can be a part of Wembley and isn't quite the full ticket. You know?
No, I completely agree. I mean, I feel like AEW themselves would obviously want JR to be part of this huge historical moment for them as well. But I'm glad he's putting his health first in this one. Obviously, it's always good to have a goal. You know, everybody sort of, when they're trying to fight to get fit once again, I think they always do have a goal. I think it's good to have a goal set for you to sort of aim for. But at the same time, you've also got to put yourself first, and it feels like JR's definitely doing that. Hopefully he is better and ready for All In, but just wishing nothing but the best for him.
Still some question marks over All In terms of how it's going to be broadcast. There was a story that came out from Fightful earlier this week that said that the AEW were in talks with Warner Brothers Discovery airing it on TV, so not airing it as a special. Because I think there's, if my schedules are right, there's a pay-per-view the week after. I think it might be all out the week after.
I think you might be right, actually.
So they would probably be reticent to do 2 pay-per-views on the week-to-week bounce. But pay-per-views in AEW and a higher amount of them is something that's being discussed at the moment.
It is. This comes from Fightful Select, and it says, Warner Brothers Discovery sources confirmed to Fightful Select that one of the major proposals from their end to All Elite Wrestling, as it relates to an extension, is the subject of pay-per-view events. Specifically, a Warner Brothers Discovery source told Fightful that they mentioned the very likely possibility of significantly expanding their AEW pay-per-view schedule, even to 1 a month. We're told that this is something that Warner Brothers Discovery has wanted. We aren't sure on if those would be standalone or included in a max streaming deal, as Warner Brothers Discovery sources would not elaborate on that. Now, nothing in the deal is finalized to our knowledge, as this could change, but the expanded schedule has been discussed.
Now, selfishly, if AEW do turn around and go, let's do 1 pay-per-view every month, our response is, cheers, mate, we didn't want to sleep anyway. Cheers, mate. Didn't want weekends anyway. It's fine. It's not like we've got loved ones that we barely see during the week. Alex is working late and I'm working early, so I never see her. If they start doing pay-per-views every month, she's going to be livid.
I think you need to give Tony Khan a stern telling off.
No. I will ring Tony and go, Alex, You have a word.
Oh, he
Hell
doesn't
hath
stand
no
a chance.
fury like a Yorkshire woman scorns. You know that.
I know that.
You know that. But it would change a lot of the dynamic of AEW. I mean, obviously, we're just being silly. I think there's something to be said for having those monthly pay-per-views that really strengthen and focus your storytelling. And sometimes AEW has a history of kind of putting things on the back burner and then letting them boil over.
Yeah.
Or just letting them go cold. And with a monthly pay-per-view offering, you have the chance to avoid doing that as much. I think.
I agree with you there. I guess as well with sort of Collision, part of this whole AEW sphere now too. Would it be sort of like a SmackDown and Raw kind of thing like it was back in the day? You have exclusive pay-per-views for each maybe brand, for certain wrestlers and things like that. I guess that would also, if they want to keep Punk and the Elite and certain people separate, would that be a way to do it as well, I guess?
Ooh.
Maybe, I don't know, I'm not too sure. But yeah, you know, sometimes it feels as though when we go into an AEW pay-per-view, we complain that there's a lack of build. Like some things feel like they just happen sort of very, very close to the pay-per-view rather than a long thing.
And that was quite prevalent with Forbidden Door. There were some matches that were given a lot of run-up, as we saw. There were some that were made on like the Rampage before.
Yeah.
You know, and so I hear you're right in that sense that it kind of allows a bit more. And if we are going to do monthly pay-per-views, can't we make them a little bit shorter?
Which I guess is also the benefit maybe as well of doing, if they do decide to go with monthly pay-per-views.
Yes, shorter ones, just a little bit shorter. That would be lovely. Now, Dobby has been given a shorter pay-per-view. Dobby is free.
He's never free. The Battle of the Belts is coming up this Saturday.
He's dead, Tom.
I know. I guess that's the
That's the freest. That's the freest you could
free-
possibly be.
Dobby's not up there. Dobby's down there. In Huddersfield. Calgary hosts Battle of the Belts on Saturday. Toni Storm defending the AEW Women's title against Taya Valkyrie. Luchasaurus takes on Sean Spears for the TNT title. And Orange Cassidy puts the international title up against Lance Archer.
Ooh-wee.
Lance has had not much going on. I don't fancy his chances.
I don't either, but I always like watching Lance though. I do love me some Lance.
Do love me some
love me
Lances.
some Lance.
We do love a little bit of Lances. An AEW star, in fact, a former ROH Women's Champion, is in Newcastle on Saturday. Mercedes Martinez is en route to Northeast for North Wrestling Thunderstruck on Saturday. It's nearly North Wrestling o'clock, Andrew.
Bloody hell, you've got no time for anything, you.
No time.
Always working.
Always things. But this is the biggest North Wrestling show ever. It's at the Walker Dome on Saturday. Mercedes Martinez is going to be there. Scotty Too Hot is going to be there. Session Moth Martina's going to be there. Gangrel's going to be there.
Yes.
Joey Janela's going to be there.
Yeah, of course he is as well.
Massive card of wrestling action. We had a chat with Liam Slater on Desert Island Graps just the other day. He is the North Wrestling Champion. Find out how he's feeling about it. We're chatting to Rio later today on the Cultaholic podcast feed about her match with Mercedes Martinez, one of the highest ranked female competitors in the UK right now. Rio is unstoppable. We're chatting to her on Desert Island Graps later today as well. Come see us Thunderstruck Saturday, the Walker Dome in Newcastle, you cowards. Trinity is wrestling on Saturday as well. She is challenging Diana Perrazzo for the Impact Knockouts Championship at Slammiversary. She was chatting to the New York Post about her WWE walkout.
She certainly was.
Whatever
that was. She said there was a lot that happened. There was a lot that was said that ultimately led to me being put in a position and feeling like that was what was best for me and what I needed to do. I still believe that. I still stand on that, and that's just what it is. I just hope that through all of the drama and the rumors and the messiness, that the one thing people do know about us is how much we care about women's wrestling. Nobody understands the magnitude of what happened and what really went on and why we feel the way we feel.
Trinity opened up about her friendship with Mercedes Moné and revealed that revealed the handful of WWE stars that touched base with them immediately after the walkout. She said, I wouldn't want to do it with anyone else other than her. And other than Tamina and Bailey checking in on us regularly, that was it. We just had each other going through that. Nobody understands the magnitude of what happened and what really went on and why we feel the way we feel. It just goes goes to show how real our friendship is and how real all of this is. Knockouts title match, Deonna Purrazzo defends against Trinity this Saturday at Slammiversary. There'll also be an Ultimate X match featuring my guest from this week for another edition of Desert Island Graps in Speedball, Mike Bailey.
What?
We had a whole chat about him winning Battle of Los Angeles. We had a chat about him being locked out of the US for 5 years. But then we turned to the great history of TNA wrestling and a gimmick match he'd love to see return.
Oh, he says Elevation X really is my favorite. AJ Styles versus Rhino in Elevation X really is one of my favorite things of all time. One, because it's completely ridiculous. It's a terrible idea. I then spoke to Rhino about it and he told me, above and beyond what you want to see on TV, the structure was shaky and really felt unstable and it looks terrifying. Somehow it's worse. I would love to be a part of it because I think it's an incredibly over-the-top interesting concept. As a child, Tom, watching Elevation X matches, I was in my element. Let me tell you something. I loved it.
And so did Mike Bailey. He's such a wonderful guy to chat to because he went, it was ridiculous, it was terrible, it was shaky, unstable. I love it, I want to do it.
Yeah.
My chat with Mike Bailey's waiting for you on the podcast feed right now. And if you're a Patreon, you can watch it as well. Patreon.com/Cultaholic. And for the latest wrestling news throughout the day, you can check out Cultaholic.com. Gaze.
I love you, bye.